Hi, welcome back to ACL Stands. In this episode, I'm going to do a quick video on how to replace a motor in the Boombox. Motors that don't have a speed adjustment screw on the back, which is like a centrifugal style motor. This is the motor that came out of the silver ST767 that you see here in the background. Now you can actually open these up with a little screwdriver and sort of bust open that metal top cap there. I prefer to just get a new motor. Now this particular motor was running slow, running at around about 2.8 on the test tape, 3000 Hertz. There's not, unfortunately, a lot you can do with the motor when it's running slow if it doesn't have a speed adjustment screw. So I don't know enough about it. What I prefer to do is just change the motor, just get something with speed adjustment screw on the back, and to make sure that you do check the other factors that might be contributing to the unit being slow. Or it could be the reels or mechanical parts on the tape. Just make sure everything's working freely before you go and replace the motor, because it could be something else. This particular motor here is Matsushita. This is the MMT8SF9D. This is a 9-volt DC motor. This is a clockwise directional motor. So you want to make sure that you get the exact same direction on your replacement motors. So I get a lot of my motors from Wagner. I'll put a link in the description, and they always have good replacement parts for Boomboxes. Now this motor came off the Toshiba RT150S, I believe it was, and I had it sitting around. It was just a broken Boombox, and I decided that I would use it. This is a 9-volt DC motor. This is a clockwise directional motor, so it's exactly the same. The other thing that I did here, you can see here is the original wire that came off here. Just make sure you got your polarities correct before you do anything, any replacement wiring like I have. Then I've got this connected. This is the original section here, and it had the capacitor and everything on there, so I'm just going to leave it on there. The other thing, of course, when you get a replacement motor is you need to remove a belt pulley off the shaft here. I've seen a lot of people do this in a lot of different ways. Some people like to get a screwdriver and sort of lever it out like this. You can certainly try that and just see if it comes out, but if you're having to apply too much pressure, then I would suggest not doing it. So the original pulley that came off this 150S motor, I didn't have too much trouble getting it off. I'm going to show you the way I like to get it off, and a lot of people like to do this different ways. Use a heat gun here. This has got a smaller diameter type of fitment here that I made, holding the motor like this in a bench vise or something. Point the heat gun up here. I used to like to have this on around about just slightly more than halfway towards the brass pulley, because with the heat it will expand and you'll be able to pop that off. So just hold it up there for around about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and you can just pop that off here with a screwdriver. So if you have a look on this particular motor here, you can see I've put the spindle back on, as you can see just here. What I would suggest also doing is getting the measurements of the diameter motor. Now most of the holes should line up, and this one just fits straight in. Pretty much on a lot of those motors you do have a couple of different holes for different configurations. That particular one did have the same configuration. Most of them do have that same configuration, as long as you get the right size or comparable size to the original. That was just pretty much a straight swap over here, and the unit is now, it's got the speed adjustment screw on the back here, and I was able to get this unit to exactly the right tape speed. So yeah, you'll probably have to do this every now and again with Boomboxes that don't have adjustment screws on the back. Motor, this top silver cap here will be pushed down, and it'll be braced with all these little metal things. What you've got to do to open this lid up, screwdriver here, and you can see there's a little cutout in this side of this motor here. And what you do is you can put the screwdriver in here and just lever this open, and you might have to do it a couple of times. Don't push the screwdriver in like right in, only just enough that you can just lever that out. And what will happen is you'll end up removing the top case here. So you're not too much to that one, it's just a little bit of foam on the top there. Next thing you'll notice, you have a inner encased motor, so you should be able to just pull that out of the cylinder there. Again, this has already been opened, but before it was opened, this metal top plate here was pushed down and had the same type of setup that was on this unit here. What you have is a little tab. You can see it just here, which sticks out a little bit, and you can grab the end of the tab and just sort of lever it up a little bit as much as you can. I actually used my vise, which is over here, and I just put it between the vise and managed to just open it that way. But if you haven't got a vise, use a good set of pliers. So I've got a small screwdriver here, and what it is, I just put that in recess there that's opened up, and just got a small hammer and just tapped it, and eventually you'll be able to get the screwdriver there that'll push that top plate off. Go around a little bit on either side. Straight away with this motor is that there's no IC or PCB in the actual unit to control the speed, and you can see there's like a copper ring and those contact points on these two contact pads. So you can see those contact pads just making contact in there with that round copper shaft. So you notice there's a lot of like dirt, dust I guess, that's collected around that shaft there. So a little bit of electronic cleaning solvent. Use a nice little nylon brush here and just clean that up a little bit. The other thing you can do here is apply a little bit of circuit cleaner just on the pads itself, just to remove any dirt that's on there. And the last thing you can do here is get a little bit of bearing oil. I've actually got, this is actually synthetic oil that is designed for lubricating Toshiba tape decks. I got this off eBay. If you just do a search for liquid bearing oil, so just to drop them all down into that shaft mounting hole there. And so there's a look at the motor all put back together, and you definitely can service these, but you have to be a little bit careful in what you're doing. And the best way I found to put all this back together, to bend all the plates back straight again, is put it in a vise like this, small little hammer, and just use a screwdriver or something and tap all the parts back straight again. And that's really all you have to do. Those plates back sitting nice and flush again. Just make sure that you do have the shaft lined up in the center. So yeah, hopefully you got something good out of this video. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you on the next project.